That is some pretty impressive flying.
Pretty slick flying.
It is. Congratulations, Dark Star.
No
Not
S.
Dark Star,
No.
Dark Star.
Because I was thinking Dark Star.
But he is a very good flyer, and way better than me. I need to take some lessons. Are you that good?
No, I don't think I would. I think I would get motion sick flying like that.
That's true. Welcome to Around the Verse, your weekly look at Star Citizens development. I'm Sandy Gardner, VP of Marketing.
I'm Ben Lesnick, Director of Community Engagement.
Star Citizen Alpha 2.4 is now live and on the live servers. We patched the 2.4 over the weekend.
Yes, we know this has been long awaited. Star Citizen Alpha 2.4 is our largest update since the move to 2.0 earlier in the year. Adds persistence, flyable capital-sized ships, shopping, in-game economy, all sorts of cool stuff. And we absolutely would not be here without the tireless devotion of our volunteer bug testers, the folks in the Evocati, all the subscribers who helped out, everybody else who tested on the PTU. Thank you for your tireless devotion.
And do we have a little bit of footage on the very cool flyable Starfarer?
Here it is.
The Reliant is also in the hangar.
Yes, the base Reliant core is now in the hangar, so if you are a Reliant owner, you can go and explore your ship.
And just to add to what Ben said about 2.4, we found issues that we wouldn't have found, just on PTU. So basically, we had to go live. So thank you, everybody, for jumping on, because that really helps us out.
Yes, one thing I guess we should stress is that it's still alpha. The PTU is early alpha. It lets us kind of control the testing parameters, know how many people are impacting the server at one time. It lets us focus test particular things we're worried about, but it's all part of the testing process. So when a Star Citizen module or update is live, that just means more testing. So you're going to run into plenty of bugs out there. We know about it. We want to hear about your experiences, and it's all just going to help us make this a better game.
I know, I had some ship spawning, some item duplication.
Yeah.
I got all excited. I've got like 10 ships, but no.
I remember Thursday we were almost ready to launch, and they were like, okay, we fixed the ship spawning bug for every ship except the Aurora.
Yeah.
So that's the one that everybody owns.
Yay, I had 20 of them.
And I have seen some Auroras are still like dancing on the pad, but they're very close to
stopping that.
Stop the ship dance. 2.4
isn't our only big launch this week. Tomorrow we will be offering Star Citizen's first dedicated space motorcycle, the Drake Dragonfly.
Yes, the Drake Dragonfly is what you might call an ultralight snub. It's perhaps our lightest ship yet, but it has just such a cool experience where it's only your helmet separating you from the vacuum. We're really excited about some of the gameplay this one's going to add.
And what can we do with the Dragonfly? I know that's probably obvious, but...
Well, not so much, because I think there's more than meets the eye to this one. It is usable not just in space as this sort of disposable pirate fighter. Of course, it's a Drake design, so we imagine all sorts of pirate battles, caterpillars carrying them, and so on. But it's also going to be used on planets. So you'll be able to, travel around planets the same way you might in a Grey Cat, and travel around space itself.
If you're a development subscriber, your monthly hangar flare has been delivered. All subscribers should have a model Saber fighter in their hangars now.
So take a moment to savor the moment. Our development subscribers are the folks that make shows like this, Time for the Chairman, all of our other community outreach pieces possible, and we can't thank you enough, but here's a Saber.
Now let's go to our studios from around the world to see what's happening in news from around the verse.
Hey guys, welcome to Los Angeles. My name is Rennie Vasquez. I'm here with Vincent Sinatra. We're going to go ahead and talk about what's going on. So in LA, we just helped wrapped up 2.4, so you guys should be seeing it out there. And we still have a couple things here and there we're going on, but the most part, LA has been working on Item 2.0. We've had our heads down on that for a while now, and we're going to continue to have our heads down on that. So we've been actually working on the controllers, so that way, some of the flight controllers, some of the weapon controllers, so that way people can actually have specific items on their ship actually do the job it's supposed to be doing. So we're working on parameters, adding all those things. The engineers are really excited, and we're getting pretty far along. I can't wait to actually show you guys more stuff. But till then, so what do you guys got going on?
Well, QA, we've been looking at 2.5 and all the new features that are going to be rolling out. Some good stuff there. Not for 2.5, but still very exciting is the procedural planets. We've taken in a very early look at that.
It's pretty cool.
It's very cool. We love flying around there. And also we've been gathering some great feedback on the Vanguard from the forums.
When is the Vanguard feedback close out? Do you guys close it out already?
I'm collating the feedback now, so
Nice.
it's getting pretty close to closed out.
All right, cool. Well, see you guys. Thanks again. This is LA signing off.
Hey guys, Jake Ross here, producer in the Austin studio, and I'm here with you this week to talk a little bit about what's going on here in Austin. So 2.4.0 went live on Friday, yay! So we're really excited to finally get that out in you guys' hands. We've run into some issues, some critical crashes and blockers that we're experiencing with the persistence cache. So we've got our server team here in Austin updating that and fixing those problems, and hopefully we'll be putting out a patch here pretty soon that will fix up those issues so that we're not experiencing some of those issues you guys are running into with servers crashing and not being able to log in and that kind of thing. So yeah, that's great there. Yeah, animation implementation is the next thing I wanted to talk about. So I've mentioned previously that we're working on animations and that we've finally gotten some support from technical animator Eric Link out in LA to help us hook up the animation assets that we've been working on here in Austin into game. So we're finally getting those in, and more importantly, we're actually going to get some focus on getting those animations hooked up into Subsumption, which is our AI system. So pretty soon you guys will be able to see the animations we've been working on hooked up in game and working within our AI system. So that way we'll be able to have NPCs running around Port Olisar and ArcCorp to give that place, those places a little bit more life. So we're excited to see that come online here as well. That's all I got for you this week, guys. Thanks. See you around.
Hi everyone, this is Mickey over in the UK, and I've got Matt Webster here with me today, who is one of the producers in the studio. And so 2.4 went live this week.
It did.
And a lot of people have noticed as well in the PTU as well that there's been a lot of server issues. It's been one of the major problems.
Yeah, we are aware of this.
Yes.
It's part of the reason why 2.4 took a little while to come out.
Yeah.
We're right on the very edge of what we can probably do now with the network code as it stands, with the way that we have persistence and the way that items get bound and unbound from the network when they're created or destroyed. It doesn't do them the way that we would like them to do them in order for us to then proceed forwards in how we have our plans laid out.
Yeah.
So we've now got the network guys doing a really good overhaul of the network code to make sure it really does do what we need it to. Not 100% sure just how long that's going to take yet. Hopefully it'll be out in the next couple of patches. So we want to make sure that it's stable and we don't have the issues that we have now plaguing us in the new system. So we're going to make sure we really stress that properly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. And as well as this, we're hoping to see eventually a new AI system.
Yeah, it's going to start making its way into the PTU towards the end of the year, all being well. It will feed into Squadron 42 as well. It'll be, for example, a bartender won't just stand there as a rigid NPC, won't just dispense missions. He'll go around and talk to various other patrons of the bar. He'll pour drinks, have a bit of a conversation with you if you're not directly getting a mission from him, just to try and flesh these characters out and make them really rounded and feel like they're really there. They are a proper person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
Should be really, really good.
That does sound good.
Yeah.
Right, I think that's all we've got time for, so we'll see you in the bus.
See you later.
Bye.
Hey everyone, Brian Chambers from Frankfurt office. This week I'll run through a lot of what tech has done. Maybe not all the bits, but hit on some of the top stuff. First of all, we did a lot of performance and optimization work for 2.4. Good to finally get it out there in everyone's hands. A lot of work went on it across all the teams, all the offices, all the studios, and Frankfurt definitely had a hand in that. So glad that you guys actually have your hands on it. Procedural planets, continuing to push stuff, playing with new terrain, areas where there's multiple planets, and so on, and we're getting some really awesome results. Areas that we're also working on, tags and zone system, We pushed it on some tech there and saw some issues, so we're always fixing stuff before we actually put it into our main branch. So we created some stuff, broke some stuff, and fixed it and got it working. On the animation tech side, head stabilization, it's an ongoing thing to make sure that it's as stable and as nice looking as possible so it's not disruptive to the player and feels good. Always pushing on facial tech as well, the different tiers of the head. Heads you see from afar, heads you see up close, how those LODs are blending together so we can get the best results. Physics, looking at local physics grid, taking Starfare as an example, and refactoring what we need to get it solid and to get it where it should be. AI, there was a lot of work on AI as well. A lot of discussions on AI, as we talked about. There were a lot of people out here last week going through, looking at kind of what the next steps are, taking an idea of where we're at, making sure that we're building the foundation. With that, the guys have touched a little bit of everything over the last week, from the local nav mesh, zone system, subsumption, different spawning functionality, and so on. So short and sweet this week. Thanks again for all the support, and see you next week.
Tell us about how you hooked up with Chris. How'd you get involved with Star Citizen?
You know, I got an email from Chris while I was working on the RoboCop reboot,
Mm-hmm.
and I was working in Hollywood, and I got an email. He was looking for a concept artist to do some ship design for him, and he was putting together a kind of a animation pitch to go for a crowd-funded idea called Star Citizen. And I met with him, and he talked to me about his idea. It sounded awesome. And would I want to do some designs for the bad guy ship? So of course, you know, I would love to. And I did the Scythe.
Mm-hmm.
Is that
Scythe.
Scythe?
Yep.
Pronounced correctly?
Yes, Scythe.
And I did concept stuff for it. You know, we worked out the design, and Chris oversaw like the growth and the journey of that design. And then eventually I saw it actually put into the animation. I'm like, wow, look, what a great pitch.
The very first pitch at a game at GDC 12 in Texas. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you started with the Scythe, and now Star Citizen has been announced, and we have to start working on our 5 starters, the 5 ships that are gonna.
Okay.
The 5 starters are gonna begin Star Citizen, and you get tapped for the Freelancer.
Right.
So tell us about working on the Freelancer.
So Chris and the team contacted me again, and would you like to do another ship? And of course, I'd love to do another ship. And they gave me the brief for the Freelancer. It's kind of a unibody ship design, as opposed to the Drake stuff, which is very utility. It's very like putting pieces together, for the design.
We've got the Freelancer now.
Yeah.
Crowdfunding is going great. We're expanding beyond the 5 original ships, and we create an entirely new company outside those 5, Drake Interplanetary, and the first ship for Drake is the Cutlass. So tell me about working on the Cutlass. My father's favorite ship, by the way.
Again, Chris and the team asked me to get going on a pirate ship called the Cutlass. I remember the time frame was short. I immediately sketched out some stuff and sent it back in. The whole idea of it was tough little ship. You know what I mean? Like a cargo capacity, but not pretty, more like a bulldog.
Okay.
And kind of the germ of the idea landed pretty quick of those kind of outboard engines in the back, you know, the kind of 2 front, 2 back layout with the front canopy.
From there, I think next was the Caterpillar.
Caterpillar. It's still kind of a pirate ship.
Yeah, they tell you we're doing another pirate ship, kind of a bigger, more cargo-y ship.
Right.
It's called the Caterpillar. How does that influence your design right there? Because I noticed it does look
Yeah.
very different than many of our other ships.
In the brief, it was definitely, the Caterpillar is called the Caterpillar because it looks somewhat like a caterpillar. And then you go, okay.
You want me to make a
Let me
spaceship
see.
that looks like a caterpillar?
But I mean, what does that really imply? You know, a long sectional ship. And so I think all that first pass was like doing versions of that.
Did the first pass have 100 landing gear along the bottom?
No. No landed in the first pass. Just, I usually do a drawing and it's like 3/4 shots, you know?
Okay.
Yeah.
Caterpillars have 100 legs.
I think how many landing gear did it end up with?
Actually, we're still working that out because they're in the other room right now, still tweaking the exterior design based on actual gameplay needs and stuff like that. So from the Caterpillar to the Herald, Herald started as an asymmetrical ship.
Right.
It has since been it has been symmetricalized. Symmetricalized. I'm really not good with English, apparently, which I would.
It's
Not
okay.
good with English.
We're good.
All right, so the Herald, our information runner. Any stories about the Herald?
The Herald, that had a very big sketch phase to it. Like I know the initial brief was this thing. It's really fast. It flies somewhere. It opens up to send and receive information, store it, and then fly out of there as fast as you can. So then. It ended up being, big engines, some kind of transmitting and receiving rig or, receiving devices, and a kind of cramped cockpit because it isn't roomy. It's all about get there and get out.
Like most Jake ships, utilitarian.
Yeah.
Purpose.
Right.
Jake ships have an abundance of purpose. One of the things I like
they're
most
utility first.
Yeah. All right, so next we move back into MISC,
right.
And you work on the Hull series.
Correct.
Now when we started, it was just going to be the Hull C.
Right, right.
And they tell you,
holy
we're
mackerel,
go into 5.
Yeah.
So tell me about working on the Hull series and how you differentiated A from E.
You know what? It actually started off seeming like pretty straightforward, simple design. The company had already worked out a kind of a framework of how they wanted everything laid out, and it looked like the assignment was to go in and put some kind of flesh on the bones and just make that into the hull, and that's how we started. And then the conditions for the hull started to change from there. Like, well, now there should be 3. And then it went to 5, and then the final thing was there should be an open condition and then a closed condition for when it doesn't have any cargo.
So I think I just remembered what that 8th ship was, the Endeavor.
The Endeavor.
Did you work on the Endeavor?
I did. The Endeavor.
Yeah, the Endeavor with the pods.
The science exploring ship.
Before this we knew we worked on
Endeavor.
8 ships and we had 7 in our head and we couldn't remember that. The Endeavor was the next ship.
Okay.
Again with MISC.
Right,
So-
and a unibody.
Yes.
With a lot of flow.
So the Endeavor is our science, our reship ship.
Yep.
Looks like. Did you watch Silent? How many times did you watch Silent Running?
A lot, like at least 30 times.
Okay.
Yeah.
So tell me about working on the Endeavor besides watching Silent Running 30 times.
The Endeavor, that started off with a core design that had already been worked out here, and you needed me to kind of style it up and make it fit into the MISC family. And then it ballooned into needing many particular specific modules
Yes.
to fit on that ship, and then needing to have a landing bay. And so it got tricky.
Yeah,
But that's what we do, right?
Yes, yeah. Chris let Ben off the leash with the Endeavor. Ben plays a big part in the design of many of our ships, at least the top level meta design and whatnot. So he started. Yeah, I remember Ben and I had this meeting where we sat there, just he and I with a whiteboard, and started coming up with science modules and whatnot. So he didn't use any of mine. No, he used one or two of mine.
What did you have?
I'm trying to remember what they were. I think the landing module may have been mine, but honestly, I can't remember at this point. Every day just blurs here. I don't know what your day is like, but my day is just, there's so much Star Citizen, just it compacts. So that's 7.
Right.
As I haven't been counting as we go along, and that brings you to the Buccaneer.
The Buccaneer.
Now, before this airs, actually, there'll be a part. We're recording it after we're recording this, but you'll see it first. You're going to sit down with Ben Lesnick and you're going to talk all about the Buccaneer. So I won't take up too much of your time on the Buccaneer, stuff like that. So we'll let Ben talk about the Buccaneer.
You bet.
And these people will have already seen it before this airs. So that's basically a top level view of your stuff for Star Citizen.
Great.
Do you know what you're working on next? Have they said, hey Jim, after the Buccaneer, we want you for
I
this?
never know until I get that email that says, "Hey, we've got another ship. Would you like to take a pass?" And I always say yes. Because you just can't beat this job.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It is a dream job.
I do know what you
mean. And to do 8 ships for one project is pretty great. But let's not talk about me. Let's talk about you. Enough about me, Jared.
All right. So Jim, before we let you go, any final message you want to give to the Star Citizen community?
Star Citizen community, thanks for looking in on our discussion, and it really is great being able to do all these ships, and it's a dream job, and hope you like them, and thanks for having me come in, Jared. Appreciate it.
Thank you for coming in, man. So Jim Martin, concept artist and extraordinaire, maker of Drake ships and MISC ships and one Vanduul ship. Jared Huckabee, community manager for Star Citizen Squadron 42. Back to you guys.
We kindly ask that guests exit airlocks as soon as it is safe to do so.
Welcome everybody to another edition of ShipShape. I'm your host, community manager Jared Huckabee, and with me today is special guest, technical designer, Mr. Matt Sherman. Matt, how you doing, man?
Doing good.
Now, tomorrow we are putting the Drake Dragonfly on sale, and so we thought we'd take a few minutes to talk about the Drake Dragonfly, its origins, and what our initial plans for it are.
Yeah.
Now, the Drake Dragonfly was originally a voting option for our Wave 3 or 4 ships. It would have helped to look that up ahead of time. I think it's Wave 3 ships.
It was the Wave 3 starters, so it was in the same vote. So in the end, that's the vote where the Reliant won out and became the new starter ship. But then also I want to say the Terrapin, the Hurricane, the Dragonfly were all some of the other options. And so there was just enough drive between both internally where it's like, oh yeah, space motorcycle, this would be pretty damn badass. And then just from you guys in the community saying, hey, we want a badass space motorcycle. So we decided to try our hand at making a badass space motorcycle.
Gotcha. Now, in that original vote, the Dragonfly was to be considered as a starter vehicle.
Yeah.
But it's no longer what we consider a starter vehicle. It's more in the lines of a snub craft, like a Merlin or an Archimedes.
Yep.
Why don't you tell us a little bit about what we can expect from the Dragonfly tomorrow?
Yeah, so one of the biggest things that we wanted to have with the Dragonfly is a rapid entry-exit onto the ship. So one of the first things you guys will see with that is there is no canopy around this ship at all. The riders are fully exposed to the elements.
So bring your helmet.
Yeah, bring your helmet. You need to make sure your suit has life support built into it. You're not going to have a lot of the accommodations of, a life support system or a gravity generator to help you out. But the nice thing is that's only going to be while you're riding the Dragonfly in space. And one of the big things that we wanted to make sure the Dragonfly has is also a full ground vehicle operation.
So this is a multi-mode vehicle here.
Correct.
We have the diagram on your screen right now. You're looking at 3 modes. We have compact mode, space mode, and ground mode. So why don't you take us through the 3 modes?
Yeah, so compact mode, that's where the ship is going to be starting out. So it's really small, a lot smaller actually than we initially envisioned. So, your Freelancer, Constellation, a lot of the ships that people are like, oh, will it fit? Odds are there's a chance it's going to fit, and it's going to start off, rolling out of that ship in the compact mode. So that's really going to be just, till you've cleared the line of the ship, and then the Dragonfly can sort of pick out, it's like, okay, am I in space or am I on the ground? And then it's going to convert to the appropriate mode for that.
Gotcha. So, because we may have buried the lead here a little bit, this is a ship that can actually function in space and on the ground of a planet.
Yeah.
So in its ground mode, I take it flies a bit above the ground?
Yeah, it's going to hover a little bit off the ground. So when we're even sorting out the tech and what's going to drive this, we actually wanted to make sure that we're justifying it with the same conventions that we're already planning into the other systems for our game. So it's going to be using these gravity levitate or GravLev plates, very similar to what we're planning for how you'll move cargo around, because there's some mechanical apparatus helping you move cargo when we get all that in. So we want it to have that same rationale for, and this is why 2 tons of metal is hovering over the ground.
Gotcha. Another feature folks may not have been expecting, there's a second rider on here.
Yep.
So tell us about the second rider on the back.
Yeah, so because we want this to help with boarding, with raiding, with just fast actions, from point to point, we didn't want you to have to just completely leave this ship alone, because as you can see from the size, it's not the most durable beast out there. So we wanted from the ground up to make sure you can have a second rider on it, and that they're going to actually have a full rear firing arc, because they'll be sitting back to back with the pilot of the Dragonfly, and they'll be able to pull out any of their FPS weapons that they've got available to them and just be firing off behind them. That's going to really play out a bit more once we've got the procedural planets and the surfaces in place, because now, before we were just going to have a gray cat. Well, now we've got something with a little bit of teeth that can dart around, that can just fly about the surface, and hopefully not have as much trouble with handrails as the gray cat.
And in space, it has all the same components and stuff like you would expect in a Merlin, in an Archimedes. It's got a shield generator, radar, stuff like that.
Yep.
That shield generator extends to the pilot?
It'll encapsulate the whole ship, so like the pilot and the rider would technically be guarded by it. Is not the most potent shield out there. I mean, this is a very small. We actually made a new scale of components that we're considering vehicle class components. So these are separate from normal ship components, but it would be the things that you'll find in the Grey Cat, in the Dragonfly, in our rovers. And that's what's giving that much more compact space, but still delivering the power and the functionality that each component demands.
Gotcha. And since this has a space and a ground mode, can it transition from space to ground and vice versa?
Not of its own power. It cannot do safe for pilot or passenger atmospheric takeoff or re-entry. You will burn to a crisp.
Yes. All right, well, I think that about covers it. The Drake Dragonfly goes on sale tomorrow for $35, and there may be a bonus pack or something to look forward to, so keep an eye out for that. Matt, thanks for taking the time to talk with us about the Drake Dragonfly.
Always a pleasure.
And of course, we'll be doing the standard Q&A post. We'll do 2 next week, so look for that thread that opens tomorrow and post your questions for Mr. Matt Sherman. Thanks. Back to you guys.
Hey there, Tyler Whitkin, Community Manager in the Austin, Texas studio, here to bring you this week's MVP. A huge congratulations to Eon Moon for creating the stunning image Sunset Buccaneers. As I was browsing through the community hub on the RSI website, it immediately caught my eye. I am confident that it has inspired many of our artists, and we're all really excited to see what you create next. So, congratulations to you, you're this week's MVP. Back to you guys.
Proximity alert. Head. Proximity alert. Aft. Danger. System overheating.
Thank you to Jim Martin and Matt Sherman for coming on the show to talk. Drake for life.
Yay, Drake for life. Thank you for all of our subscribers for making this show possible.
Be sure to tune in to Reverse the Verse tomorrow at 11 a.m. Pacific on Twitch. We'll be talking about the Drake Dragonfly, of course, and 2.4 and all sorts of other Star Citizen news, so check it out.
And check out the comlink tomorrow for the new Jump Point. Thank you for all of our subscribers for making this show possible. As always, we will see you next week on Around the Verse.
Around the Verse.
Did you know that many of Star Citizen's developers are on social media? If you would like to follow Star Citizen on Facebook, you can find us here.
Or on Twitter, here.
And even Instagram here.
And for a full list of developers' personal accounts they're willing to share with the community, check out this link. You can find out what I bought at Amazon this week.
Star Wars stuff.
It was probably Star Wars stuff.